All righty. So we are up to the end of sales track, and what we're actually going to do this evening is a quick review of sales track. And what we know is the first 6 lessons of sales track are basically your introduction. Now, I want to be very careful with this. So many people say, man, 6 lessons just to get going. It's not that. What we've done is taken your introduction and broken it down into minute detail. Into each individual component of that introduction. Do remember your introduction, that is your first phase. So the first six lessons of sales track are a starting point, with whom do I start, your name list, your 15-second commercial, use of your qualifiers and tie downs, your personal or borrowed story. In your personal or borrowed story, a great way to develop that is watch the videos and do self-training, or buy the Worth account and use it yourself. The litmus test is lesson number 5, and setting the appointment in stone, either referring that appointment to a corporate or field closer. If you do that, I would do that in a 3-way call, or setting the appointment in stone, run your own analysis. Last week's lesson was setting the appointment in stone, and so we've come to the end of these first 6 lessons. So your introduction, how should your introduction really be put together? Well, a good story, a compelling story, or a borrowed story, a story of success is always remembered. And what we mean by this is people may forget the concepts and information shown in a PowerPoint or analysis or demonstration or the side conversations that you have, but they will never forget a really, really good story. And what we need to remember is these first 6 lessons represent your introduction. So really what it's representing is what is your first impression with individuals. And another thing that I want you to think about is what is your brand. Now we know it's Worth Unlimited, but you all are independent agents and you represent Worth Unlimited with a debt elimination program, the Worth account. What is going to be your first impression? Are you going to allow the company to be your first impression, or are you going to make a first impression on your own in the context of your follow-up, your professionalism, your attire? Me personally, I would say allow your first impression to be your first impression, the way people receive you. And in that, what is your brand? What do you want to stand for? What do you want people to think about when they think about you, when they think about Worth Unlimited, when they think about this product? These are things that we have to seriously consider when we go into direct sales, because you're either going to be a brand and a first impression that people are drawn towards and feel confidence in, or they're going to view you in a different light. And I can tell you right now that the best way to make a good first impression and to brand yourself in a positive manner is, number one, is always be yourself. Don't try to take on language or ideas that don't mesh with who you are. Now, that doesn't mean you can negate sales track and just go off willy-nilly and do whatever you want to do. We know that sales track works. We know that sales track has had a benefit to many different agents. But inside of sales track, what do you want those first impressions to be? And what do you want people to know you as far as your product is concerned, and what is your brand? I can't stress enough that if you're in debt and you're selling this product, you should purchase the product. Now, we can't force you to purchase the product, and never would we want to do that. But I can tell you one of the first things that's going to come out of somebody's mouth if you are trying to present this product to them is, are you using the product? And I can tell you that your personal experience of purchasing and actively using the Worth account will trump or override all other methods to deliver a strong message about the Worth account to your prospects. I thought I had a compelling personal story, but my personal story really didn't become compelling until I got on the program, until I started using it, and I saw what the program was doing for me. My story became even more compelling when I stayed in touch with my clients and found out what the program was doing for them. If you're not in a position to buy the product, if you don't have debt, then I would stay in touch with your clients to build a strong personal message about the program, a message of success, a message that people will not forget. So in sales track, we brought up a very unique idea, which was the litmus test. And this is after you've been through, your qualifiers and tie downs, your personal story, your 15-second commercial. You're getting ready to wrap up the conversation to move into an appointment. And this was shown to me as a means of qualifying your client's intent to move forward, your client's intent to actually utilize the system, their desire, so to speak, that they will back up with action. And the way that this question starts, this is one of the best qualifiers that I've ever heard, is on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 means nothing and 5 is absolutely imperative. Where on that scale is your desire to get out of debt? Now remember, give them enough time to process the information. Once they answer that question, if it's a positive response, ask them, are you serious or just curious about getting out of debt and knowing more about our product? Please do not coach your client. Give them time to respond. This could be 5 minutes of silence all the way up to a minute of silence, depending on who it is that you're dealing with and how they process information. So in sales track, do remember that your most valuable tool is without a doubt your personal or your borrowed story. Your second most valuable tool is definitely the questions that you ask the client. Very broad, open-ended questions of what I like to call intelligent questioning or relevant questioning. You want to ask people questions that are relevant to their situation. You need to make your message relevant. You need to make your product relevant to what is important to them. Do remember that sales is an art form. We can look at it from any aspect we want, but you notice you've met certain people that just when it comes to sale, they just have it. They just have that knack. They know what to say, when to say it, how to say it, but it's not something that cannot be learned. I've taken individuals that are teachers, mechanics, all different walks of life that have not really done anything in the sales arena. And just by following sales track, following our rhythm, following the language, they've become very proficient at delivering this product. The sales process is an art form, and the appointment process is no different. It has sequence, steps, and rhythm. So everything that you are doing in this sales arena is an art form. It has a recipe. It has a process, and it's been proven out over time. And that's what we teach you on the Monday night calls, is what has not only worked for us as a company, but what has worked for our agents in the field as well. Eliminating any of these fundamentals drastically reduces your chances of success. Follow the recipe, follow the process, trust your training, and you will get to where you want to go. The steps that we've covered so far leading up to where we are right now is what has put you in a position to be able to deliver this. Now, this may seem a little bit out of place where it is, but I want to make sure that we bring this up. We've gone through our 6 steps. We've come down to the appointment process. We're setting our appointment in stone. Make sure that you inform your prospect. And what I mean by that is let your prospect know coming into the first appointment, after you've set this appointment, what they can be prepared for. Just a reminder, we'll be doing a short 10 to 15-minute questionnaire regarding your household income and debts. I will not be asking you for your Social Security number, birth date, or any of your account numbers. I will not be asking for any sensitive personal information. All we're going to do is look at things like your mortgage balance, interest rates, and payments, and the same on your other debts, as well as your income amounts and frequencies. Does that sound okay to you? You're kind of laying the groundwork. I think all too often we don't prepare our clients for that first appointment, and that becomes a debacle. You show up and not all parties are there. You show up and they don't have the information that they needed to have available so you can run the analysis. I hear this all too often, and the easiest way to overcome this is set expectation. Now, if you're turning it over to us, now what we're going to do is make a call together and set an appointment for a free analysis or a short questionnaire or a savings report. They will not be asking you for your Social Security number, birth date, or any of your account numbers. They will not be asking for any sensitive personal information. All they're going to do is look at things like your mortgage balance, interest rates, and payments, and the same on your other debts, as well as your income and intervals. Does that sound okay to you? Is that what you understood that we were going to go into? Listen, people, I can't stress this enough. Informing your clients, following up with your clients, keeping them in the loop, not allowing them to go dark on you, making a good first impression with people. What is your brand? Following your training. All of these are integral pieces to you being successful with Worth Unlimited. The most successful people in the company still observe the basics. And I want to make sure I'm being very clear on that. They didn't go out and reinvent the wheel. They didn't go out and come up with a whole new system. What they did was they stuck to what they knew, and they improvised on that and refined that. And the only way you're going to know if you're getting better at something that you do is have a baseline of what you do. Try that out for a week or two and see how you get a response. If something isn't working, it doesn't mean you throw everything away. You just tweak something a little bit and see how now that presents. All right. With all that having been said, those first 6 lessons are really your introduction, your branding. They are your first impressions. This is where you're going to start with your client. And let me tell you this without a shadow of a doubt. The impression that you make in this first 20-minute introduction, these first 6 lessons, your ability to be professional, understand your material, to guide your client through is what is going to make or break your business. Now, I know that Dr. Joan Hackenstad was sick last week, and she was still on the call. I've got her on the call this week. I'm going to see if I can unmute her. Do I have you where you can speak, Dr. Hackenstad?
I am here. Hi there. I have a voice this week. It's always a good thing.
That is awesome. Hey, knowing that we are coming to the end of the first 6 lessons, this is something you've always been a big proponent on. Before I go into the 5 steps of success, I just wanted to know if there was any comments that maybe I didn't cover or things that are important to you in those first 6 steps, or just a thought that popped up while I was talking through the first part of that you would like to impart to the field. Is there anything about those first 6 steps that's ringing out to you that you would like to distill or break down to the field?
Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I think you did a great summary on there. For me, it really is about following a recipe, and Sales Track is your recipe, and all 6 steps I think are absolutely critical so that your recipe doesn't flop, so that it actually is successful. You don't have to go in order, just like it doesn't matter if you add salt first versus pepper first, but you do need to include all of the items in that recipe, and it can't be scripted, but you do need to be prepared. And that sounds kind of like an oxymoron, but at the same time, if you follow the Sales Track, you will be prepared. And then just get out of your own way. Allow yourself to actually introduce this to others. The commercial really, I think, is one of the more critical pieces because it helps start that conversation. If you don't have a solid commercial, then you're not going to evoke that person's excitement, that person's enthusiasm, that person's curiosity to want to learn more. So that commercial is important. I think the next most important thing are asking questions and really focusing 100% on your client. It's not about you. Keep your agenda off the table. Really focus on that prospect that's in front of you. This is all about them. But use those questions to guide that person down a path. Use it to weed out people who are not a good fit. Use it to determine what stories you're going to tell. And use it to determine how you're going to ask your questions for the litmus test. So then, of course, in the stories, you do want to use those stories to evoke emotions. People buy on emotion, they back it up with logic. So you do have to use stories to tap into that emotion. And when you tap into that emotion, that helps people actually take action. 90% of every decision is based on emotion. So if you can tell relevant stories, something that's going to be pertinent to them, important to them, that's really going to tap and resonate to their situation, that will be helpful. But you're not going to know that unless you ask questions. So use those questions strategically and then tell those relevant stories. Use that litmus test as well, and you need to have the questions presented in order to really have a solid litmus test. You have 2 main questions on the litmus test, which I'm sure everybody remembers. The first one, on a scale of 1 to 5, where's your desire to insert blank? What did they say was important to them? Are they excited about getting out of debt? Are they excited about becoming their own boss? Are they excited about saving as much money as they possibly can on interest? Are they excited about having a plan B? Are they excited about increasing and enhancing their core business? What is it that's exciting to them? And that's what you're going to input on that litmus test. So on a scale of 1 to 5, where's your desire to become your own boss? Where's your desire to beat the banks at their own game? Whatever it is that they said was important to them. And then, of course, asking that infamous question, are you serious or just curious, which I think is a really important question. And then, of course, as Max just reminded everybody, the last step, setting that appointment in stone, that really is used to help solidify that appointment. Pardon. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Very rude. I do refer most of my prospects over to Worth Unlimited for, usually I use a guy named Mike Bunker to run the analyses for me. So during that process of setting that appointment in stone, I think it's important to edify the coach, whoever's going to run that appointment for you. Edify the heck out of that individual so that that prospect is so excited and just can't believe that they actually got an appointment with that person. That's going to really increase your odds of them maintaining that appointment. It's going to create that sense of curiosity and really create that sense of eagerness to maintain that appointment. And then, as Mac already said, and forgive me, I'm now repeating what Mac had said, I'm so sorry, but I think letting that prospect know what to expect is absolutely critical. Letting them know they need to be in front of a computer with internet access if you're going to be away from them and if you're doing it virtually. Letting them know what information they need to have in front of them. I usually tell them that 2 to 3 times, and depending on with whom I'm speaking, I may actually also email them the information as well. So let them know what to expect several times. Again, this goes back to people buy on emotion. If they don't know what to expect, it may cause some anxiety, and we're trying to alleviate any form of anxiety. We're trying to play all of our aces and try to make this as smooth as possible. So that's really kind of my summary and a quick little thing. I know I repeated a little bit about what Max said, but it really is about following the recipe and then getting out of your own way. You don't, I think it was James Coco that once said, when a man forgets himself, he usually does something everybody else remembers. Forget yourself. Follow this process and forget about you. Don't worry about what you're going through. Just start that conversation. Continue the conversation that matters. Forget about you. Concentrate on them, and everything will work out in the end.
All right, Joan, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I think that was a good recap. You hit a couple points that I didn't hit as well. So there you have it. You've received a very good recap on the first 6 lessons of Sales Track. Joan, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Thank you so much for jumping on the call with us. All righty. So what are we talking about tonight? Worth Unlimited, 5 Steps to Success. See results in your business. Now, I know every company likes to put out their steps of success and what do you need to do to be successful. You have to remember we've been doing this since 2006. We have serviced well over 70,000 clients in our time. We've helped our clients pay off $1 billion better than $1 billion in principal in that time frame. And so I would think we have this dialed in pretty well, and I would just challenge everybody out there that's on the call to pick up these 5 steps and run with them and start working with your leaders, start working with the person that brought you into the company, or start recruiting people. Now remember, when we're talking about Sales Track, it's called Sales Track, but it could also be Recruiting Track. When we talk about 5 steps to success, this is also a recruiting track as well. As a company, we don't believe you should sell to recruit or recruit to sell. You should do both, and you do that by asking questions and being relevant to the client. You'd be amazed how many people get approached just with the product when they really want a business, or get approached with a business when they really want the product. Or how about the people that we go one way or the other, and they actually wanted both? So asking questions is definitely your smartest things to do. So what we're going to call the 5 steps to success, because I like little cool acronyms, is 5 STS, the 5 steps to success. So we'll know this as 5 STS from now on. The first step is always self-training. That shows your intention. That shows your desire, your motivation, that you don't have to have your hand held to move through this process. And if you're in direct sales, I think you already know hand holding doesn't work real well. You're either going to have people that are going to get out there, they're going to consume the information, they're going to try to get moving, they're going to ask intelligent questions that are pertinent to the things they need to know in order to be successful in this business. They're going to jump on Monday night training calls. They're going to go through the self-training in the back office. They're going to do everything they need to do. Step 2 is your own personal analysis. Get vested in the product and see what the product will do for you. Number 3 is your prospect list. And a lot of people have argued that maybe the prospect list should be number 1. That should be the first thing you should do. I personally believe that you should show some initiative. Do your self-training, watch your videos, get that information under your belt, run your own personal analysis. The first and the second step to me go hand in hand. Once you've done that, you've shown intent, you've shown mettle, you've shown that you do want to proceed and move forward. At that time, I say you run your prospect list, and that would be good if I kept these going the way that they're supposed to be going. Sorry about that. Number 4 is several appointments each week. So that means you're going to have to get in front of people. You're going to have to talk to people. And step 5 is if you do several appointments a week, your goal is to try to do 4 sales in the course of a month. Now, remember the promo, if you did 4 Platinum or Platinum Plus sales, not only would you receive your commissions, not only would you exceed what you need to get to director, but you would be receiving $450 of bonus on each sale. That's almost $2,000 of bonus just for completing 4 sales in the course of a month. This will give you success in 30 days. But you have to do each one of these points and then utilize the 6 aspects of Sales Track to do your introduction, to start setting your appointments and moving forward. Okay, so step 1, self-training. What are we really talking about? Well, that would be watching the prospective client 30-minute videos. You can see those there. They're on your agent replicated website for client. You should go in and watch all 3 videos if you're coming into the company so you know exactly what it is that you're sending out to a client. Then after that, you should go in, if you look right here at the bottom on your agent portal, you have this tab that says Agent Training Videos down here in the bottom right. And these are the videos that we have as training for your back office, how to use it, how to run an analysis, how to use the shopping cart. All of the information is there. We would anticipate if you're taking this business serious that you would invest 3.5 hours towards your own agent training to get on top of things and get yourself motivated and moving in the right direction with this program. At the end of the day, if you don't learn the product, learn the language, you're going to have a tough time delivering this to individuals. You're going to have a tough time speaking the language of the product and coming across as being confident about what you're doing. And I can tell you this, that a big part of your first impression, a big part of you being able to operate through this program, through your clients, is your confidence, not only in the sales product and the individual items that we have in place, the recipe, the process, but it's also being familiar with the product itself and being familiar with your clients and being relevant. Following the process is what is going to give you success. Okay, so step 2, your personal analysis. Well, that you just go into your agent portal, you go into your analysis, and my thing I would do is run your own analysis first. Run your situation. That will also train you. That will also train you on how the analysis program works. If you have difficulties in understanding certain areas of the analysis and how it works, you can always contact agent support. And you can contact them if you have trouble with an analysis. They can kind of walk you through where you may have made some mistakes or, may have put in the wrong data, something along those lines. But I can tell you nothing will teach you about running your analysis greater than getting in there and doing some analysis. So what's something you need to think about there? if you're just starting off with a client and you're making first impressions, do you think it's a good idea to run the analysis in front of the client if you haven't done that many analysis? And the answer to that question is no. You don't want to sit down in front of a client and run the analysis where it is live for the client, or run it on a webinar with the client. If you make a mistake, you're not going to have the ability to correct that mistake. That's going to be immediately displayed to your client. You're going to get the panic syndrome. You're going to start shuffling and trying to correct what it was that you did. If you are just starting out, two things I would suggest: either turn them over to a corporate closer, turn them over to the corporate office, turn them over to your upline, somebody that can close the deal, that knows how to run analysis and set the appointment. Or I would suggest that you collect the information you need to run the analysis, maybe do it over the phone, do it in a webinar, run the analysis and set your appointment up to review your analysis findings. You should run your own personal analysis within the first 48 hours of you joining the company. Your self-training should be done, in my opinion, the first day you join. And to me, that blows my mind a little bit that a lot of people don't do that, because if I just joined a company, I would want to know everything they had to offer on the agent portal. So I'm one of these people that would sign in immediately and go around and start clicking tabs to find out what is each thing I have. And then anything I don't understand, then that would be a call that I would be making in, to the supporter or my upline or somebody that could educate me on what it was that I just experienced that I didn't understand. All right, so the next piece that we move on to is step 3, and this is your top 25 list. I know people that have top 100 lists. I know people that actually have top 500 lists that have been in sales for 30 years. A lot of people say back to me, well, Mac, I don't really have a lot of contacts. I really haven't done business in this arena. Just about everybody today has a cell phone, and your cell phone is a database, whether you want to recognize it that way or not. You should go into your cell phone and not determine who should hear the message and who shouldn't, but who you have the closest relationships with, and then moving down to people that are just acquaintances. The people that you have great relationships with, that would be your warm market, your hot market. People that you've just been acquainted with, maybe you have a note in where you met them or something, those are the people that are a little bit further away from the sun. They're your cooler market. But I would physically go through my cell phone and write down every single name I have, what they do, and a phone number. And there is a reality to writing things down does help you remember more intensely. If you go through a memory jogger list and just start writing down people like who is your barber, who's the person who repairs your car, who's the girl at the checkout counter at your grocery store, who's your pharmacist, if you just start thinking along those lines, you can probably come up with 25 people that you interact with every week that know you on some level besides just, hi, how you doing, Mike? With your top 25 list, create your top 25 prospect, add them to your back office, and start calling them to set appointments. Now, we've given you a talk track for calling them. I'm going to give you another little piece of a talk track here this evening on the 5 steps to success. So we have our first 6 lessons of sales track, which is your introduction to the client, your first impression, your branding. We know how to set this appointment in stone now, how to move up to that process. Now what we're trying to show you is, where do you find more people? How are you successful in this business? How do you move forward with the information that you've already learned and start applying that information? Because many people, their biggest difficulty is, where do I meet people? How do I recruit? How do I network? This is just a matter of putting yourself out there, going through memory joggers, writing down names. Yes, it's painstaking. Yes, it takes up time. But I'm telling you that if you do this, it will benefit you on the back end of your business. So number 4 is your prospect introduction. Okay, and I am a big person on third-party introductions. I think many of us have forgotten how much power is involved with that third-party introduction. So it could be, hey, Mike, I'm helping people eliminate debt and build wealth. Would you be willing to watch a short video presentation? This is a very easy way in. You're introducing the video as kind of your third-party expert. This could be, I'm helping people eliminate debt. Would you be willing to have a conversation with my corporate office? They can probably explain this better than I can. Or, hi, Mike, I'm helping people eliminate debt and build wealth. Would you be willing to speak with my partner to see if this could be a good fit for you? You don't have to know everything right now. You just have to know how to effectively repeat these statements to get people to move forward, to take the next step with you, to have confidence in you and the process and in the company. It is okay in this business to be brand new. I think so many people get afraid, well, if I tell them I'm brand new, they'll want to work with somebody that's more seasoned. No, everybody has started at new at one time or another in their lives, and being brand new has a very special place. One, it means you can mess up a little bit and people will be more forgiving. But number two, you should have that drive and that motivation and that professionalism and that excitement that you want to get your business off to a good start. So if we review where we've been, what we're really talking about is what should you already be doing to create and achieve success in your business. And we have found that these 4 steps we've gone over so far are the steps that will bring you success. And if you follow these steps, where this leads to is to step number 5, which is get paid. And I know you weren't expecting that to be step 5, but if you follow this process, get in front of as many people as you can, the reality of doing 4 sales in 30 days is there. It's very real. I've seen it occur for people that have put this into place. An active and productive team is what you're really looking for, and it's going to take you driving that team. It's going to take you getting out there. It's going to take you getting out of your comfort zone. I like what Tom Cruise said. He said, I spend 1 hour a day trying to achieve the impossible. And what he's really talking about there is something that seems totally out of your scope is what you should be concentrating on. Getting out of your comfort zone and getting into another arena and another environment forces us to do things that we wouldn't normally do. And I love what Joan said because I think it fits in here. A man that forgets himself usually does something that is memorable. I think if we get out of our own way, if we serve a greater and a deeper purpose, this is when our business really starts to come together. This is when our family lives come together. This is when our personal lives come together. Just my experience is when we forget ourselves, we step out of our comfort zone, and we start trying to advocate and be an advisor more than a salesperson. Be someone that is in it to win it for the long haul, not a one-and-done type sale, but a relationship-building sale that you can go back to for referrals, for future business, for anything along those lines. So the 5 STS is self-training, personal analysis, your prospect list, several appointments each week in that first month. That should reach you to 4 sales and success inside of 30 days, and that's why we call it the 5 steps to success. So in summary, what have we done so far leading up to the 5 steps to success? Well, number 1, you should have already set your appointment in stone. Number 2, doing things on a few and far between basis does not make you money. This is a numbers game. This is something that you have to be vested in. This is something that will try your patience. This is absolute something from my experience that will test your endurance. It will test your ability to stay consistent. Now, we're all going to have good days and we're all going to have bad days, but you should make a plan, write out an action plan for yourself of how many calls you're going to do a day, how many new people are you going to try to meet a day, how many appointments are you going to try to set up a week. If you don't hit every single one of your goals, that's why it's called a goal. It's what you're trying to achieve, but you have to back up a goal with action or it's just a wish. I want you to understand that if a goal is not backed up with action, continual work, it is just a wish. And we know the old saying, wish in one hand and do something in the other and see which one fills up first. You need to set a game plan. You need to set up an action plan. There's an old saying that says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. With that having been said, show this to everyone you know and build your pipeline. This is a pipeline business. I get a lot of calls from people that say, hey, Mac, I've got one hot prospect, and I need you to make a phone call to him, and I need you to talk to this person. No. You need to have many prospects. If you're going to do this business, you should be looking at somewhere between 20 to 30 people a month. That should break down to anywhere from 7 to 10 people a week is how many people you should be getting in front of, because your fallout rate of people that are not interested, didn't understand what it was that you were offering, had something else come up in the middle, you're going to have about 50% drop-off just from the people that you encounter and talk to. But I also want to let you know that building a pipeline is not just a one and done, making a contact and forgetting about them. As we've reviewed on this call before, people don't usually respond until about the 8th to 12th follow-up call or email. Stay on your people that you meet. Make notes about where you met them. Reach out very inconsequentially. Hey, I was just thinking about you today, wanted to see how you were doing. Have you given any more thought to what we discussed? Stay in contact with your people, and it will serve you at the end of the day in a very positive fashion. Work at your business every day and celebrate the little wins. I don't care if you spend 15 minutes a day. I don't care if you spend 3 hours a day, but work at your business every single day, learning a new piece of material, learning a new way to explain something, meeting a new person that you never knew, getting in touch with people that you knew from the past that you want to expose to the program. Work at your business every single day. It's not focusing on the result, it's focusing on the activity, focusing on items, actions, plan actions that will move your business forward and will pay you at the end of the day. Have a game plan, but as important as having a game plan is have a plan to carry it out. I see so many people that make up game plans, but they never put anything into place like, this is the time of day I will do this. If you set a regiment that you have a certain time of day that you work our business, your mind and your body and your spirit will become dialed into that time frame that you will be expecting yourself to do work on your business. So set up a game plan, but set up a plan to carry it out. And in the very beginning, keep things simple to the process. Trust your training. Don't throw a lot of nonsense in the game that you don't have to throw into the game. Keep it to the training. Show the videos. Use the first 6 steps of Sales Track. Develop your 15-second commercial. Develop your personal and borrowed story. Keep it as simple as you can for yourself during these early stages so you can concentrate on marketing yourself, not concentrate on trying to undo things that you have done. All right, so next week, there's a couple things that I want to mention before we jump off the call. We do not have a usable copy of Lesson 6, Setting the Appointment in Stone. So the question that I have for you all, and I'll do this with the chat. If you'll go to chat, what I'm wondering is next Monday, December 18th, would you like me to go ahead and redo Setting the Appointment in Stone? You can either come in and put yes or come in and put no. Go to your question section on your GoToMeeting toolbar and let me know with the letter Y or the words yes or the letter N or the words no. Please, everybody, go to your question section and type in now, would you like me to go ahead and redo Appointment in Stone? I'm getting a lot of yeses. Now, remember, we do not have a readable version that we can put up on YouTube, so that's why I'm wondering if I should go ahead and redo this. It looks like we have enough yeses to make that a reality. So we're going to go ahead next week. And so for December 18th, put it in your calendar. We're going to redo Setting the Appointment in Stone. Here is my contact information and worst contact information. But I want to let you all know something. On January 2nd, I want you to put a note in your calendar. Everybody that is on this call, please put a note, January 2nd, as Worth Unlimited, we will be unveiling a very exciting tool for you all to use, something that we've been working on for over a month now. We are almost at the completion stage. We actually have it finished. We're just going through our critique of what we have created in the way of a tool for you to make sure that when we release this, that it is fully ready to go, that it's not going to be one of these, hey, we're going to give it to you, but we have to hold on a week. On January 2nd, I will be doing a webinar. I want you to get in touch with anybody that has ever been with Worth Unlimited, anybody that you ever knew from You First, anybody that's ever been in your organization. I can tell you that this tool coming on January 2nd, we're going to go over that on the webinar January 2nd for the first of the year. It will be a tool that's been long awaited and a tool that you all will gravitate to, that I truly believe will help improve our business and help improve your business as a whole. This is a webinar you do not want to miss. Now, I know you all have been on my webinars. You've been on them religiously on Monday nights. You've gotten some good training. But I'm letting you know that January 2nd's webinar is something you do not want to miss. You want to see the unveiling of this new tool that we've been working on for over a month. And we got basically the finished product in hand at the beginning of this week. And we've been working through that this week just to make sure that there's no interruptions to your ability to use it. So on January 2nd, when we release this, it will be available, active, and ready to go. And I'm very excited about this new tool. So just remember your lesson tonight, the 5 steps to success. Remember, you have to get out there if you're going to do anything. Remember your first 6 lessons of Sales Track. That is your introduction. That's your branding. Make a plan and a plan to follow that out. If you have any questions about how you would put all of this together, feel free to contact me, send me an email, send me a text, call me on the phone, or contact Worth Support. And January 2nd, just so you know, that is going to be the day after New Year's Day, which is the 1st, and we're not going to do a call on Monday, January 1st. We're going to do our regular scheduled call on Tuesday, January 2nd, and it'll be at the same time. And at that time on that webinar is when we will be announcing this new exciting tool for you all in the field force. So with that having been said, I want to thank everybody for jumping on the call. I want to make sure that you receive good and accurate information this evening. We're constantly developing and improving our training. Get everybody you know to get on these calls, get engaged. And at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Let's get out there and do something big. Let's get out there and do something right. But at the very least, let's get out there and do something big right now. This is Max Saunders saying bye-bye for now.